Over a year since a Travis County jury convicted 37-year-old Daniel Perry for the murder of a Black Lives Matter protester in Austin, Governor Greg Abbott has decided to give him a pardon. Perry was sentenced in May of 2023 to 25 years in prison for shooting and killing U.S. Air Force veteran Garrett Foster during a 2020 demonstration protesting police brutality. So now the guy murdered a man, and Greg Abbott says, great, let him go. In fact, one day after a jury convicted Perry, unanimously, Abbott directed the parole board who he appointed to review Perry's case. And unsurprisingly, they ruled that Perry was just defending himself against this dangerous, radical Black Lives Matter protester. Now, the ruling not only frees Perry, but gives him back his gun rights. Great. Lovely. Now, here's the thing. According to court documents, Perry had previously made some pretty racist comments, discussed how he wanted to hunt Muslims, and messaged just months before killing Foster, I might go to Dallas to shoot looters. Now, of course, that's in reference to, a lot of different comments about essentially black protesters. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. I've seen that posted. I've heard that from a lot of right-wingers. And so, look, they have a desire to shoot and kill people, okay? That's, a lot of these right-wingers do. That's unfortunate. So now, Perry was driving for Uber at the time he encountered Black Lives Matter protesters. He then stopped his car, honked at them, okay, fine, and then decided, that's not good enough, I'm just going to drive right into him. I'm going to drive into the crowd. He then claimed that after he drove into the crowd, Foster had threatened him by aiming his weapon at him, and so therefore giving him the excuse to shoot Foster. So now, in a statement, Douglas O'Connell, attorney for Perry, said the Pardons Board had conducted a very thorough investigation and accused Foster of having threatened Perry with his AK-47 rifle prior to the shooting. Now, there's something wrong with that, all right? Following the shooting, Perry had told the detective, I believe Foster was going to aim at me, so I didn't want to give him a chance to aim at me. I didn't want to give him the chance to aim at me, meaning that Foster wasn't actually aiming his weapon at him. Therefore, there was no justification, no standing his ground. So it kind of looks like murder. Apparently, though, Perry was so afraid of being aimed at that he instead aimed at Perry and murdered him and then drove off. That's what happened. That's why a Travis County jury rejected his self-defense claim and convicted him. That's why he should be in prison. But Greg Abbott says, nope, he's our guy. Now, to make things even more worse, right? So, other than just being a scared, whatever. Turns out he's also a groomer. Court documents revealed that Perry had been sending inappropriate messages to someone who was self-described as a 16-year-old through Kik Messenger. Kik, I've never heard of it, and there's a good reason why. It's a communication platform that has been used to share images of child abuse. Child sexual abuse, specifically. Now, Perry's like, well, I don't want to do any of that. No, promise me no nudes, he says, until you are old enough to be of age. He wrote that the same month that he shot and killed Foster, okay? He then said, I'm going to bed to come up with a reason why I should be your boyfriend before I wake up. Remember, this guy's like 36 years old at the time. And she is, again, 16. That's a 20-year difference. Disgusting. Okay? That's groomer behavior right there. You are grooming this teenager girl, okay, to be your girlfriend. But Abbott looks at this guy and says, oh, no, it's perfect. Not only did he murder a Black Lives Matter protester, because I hate those guys. By the way, Foster's white, but he was standing up for Black lives. So if you do that, that's unacceptable to them. So he says, well, you kill that guy, great. That's going to send a message to, white allies not to do that, because we're going to treat you the same way we treat black people. We're going to shoot you. We're going to murder you. And that's it. So now Abbott, again, gets his cronies to pardon this guy. And it worked. So now their claim is that the detective had withheld exculpatory evidence, and that the prosecution and that whole area is just so liberal and pro-gun control. So it must have been a political hit job, and they withheld exculpatory evidence. Now, what kind of evidence did they allegedly withhold? Well, there was stuff that was inadmissible in court that didn't get allowed, and that's where video where Foster had approached Perry's car, as well as video where Foster was saying that he had started carrying his weapon because they stopped letting us march anywhere, marching in the street. He said, quote, I got to practice some of our rights. Now, wait a minute, this guy does have a Second Amendment right to open carry in Texas. That is the law of the land. Foster says, look, that's my right, and if they're going to try to prevent me from exercising my First Amendment right, then I'm going to use my Second Amendment right. All right, to defend myself, specifically. Not against police, but against other people, he said. In fact, when he was asked if he felt the need to use his weapon, he said no, and added, if I use it against the cops, I'm dead. I think all the people that hate us and, want to say crap to us are too big of a wuss, coward, whatever, to stop and actually do anything about it. So basically, yeah, intimidation, right? That's what the defense's argument is aha! He was using that weapon to intimidate people, and this guy, Perry, was so scared of seeing this weapon on a Black Lives Matter protester that he had no choice but to shoot and kill him through his window. That's it. But wait a minute. Hold on. Right-wingers, isn't that the whole reason why a lot of right-wingers open carry their weapons? That they like that? I mean, again, the whole point of open carry is saying, I have a gun, so if you dare mess with me, I will use my gun against you. Well, that's intimidation, is it not? But it defeats the whole purpose of open carry. It's saying that, if you scare me, I'm going to shoot you. Well, a lot of people will look at somebody open carrying a gun and say, I'm kind of scared of that. I feel a little intimidated right now. Does that give you the right to shoot that person because you feel intimidated? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And again, no evidence that Foster was actively aiming his weapon at Perry, giving him the excuse to say, well, I had to shoot him first before he shoots me because I thought he was going to shoot me. So again, the whole self-defense thing just kind of falls apart. But look, it also, by the way, destroys the argument that more guns make people safe, that everyone open carrying will make a polite society. Armed society is a polite society. Well, you have two people who are openly armed. The result didn't look all that polite. No, what happened here is, again, this guy, Foster, was on the side of black people against police violence. He was a left-wing protester and was doing protests that Perry did not care much for. Okay, he's in the street, he's blocking traffic. So then Perry decides to drive into the crowd, and when approached by Foster, Perry shoots him and lies about it. He then becomes a hero on Fox News. And the Chuds, who, again, want to murder protesters. They want to run them over. There are laws in states that allow right-wingers to run over left-wing protesters. And now, because of Greg Abbott, this man is back on the street with all of his guns. I'm just waiting for the day that this guy teams up with Kyle Rittenhouse and decides to go on a I murdered people and got away with it tour. Knowing the right-wing grifto spheres I do, very likely we're going to see that in the future.